Heck yeah.
Details. Hello.
Hello, welcome
All
to
right.
the Kinda Lost podcast episode
Dos.
2.
All right, before we get started, though, real quick, let's see if we can do this. Ready? And 3, 2, 1.
I'm still off. What?
Anyways, do we have to do it again, or is that okay?
I mean, I'm okay. I can suck it up.
Okay.
My pride almost
All right.
got to me that time.
First things first, I'd like to feature this episode's plant. This is
What's it called?
my beautiful wiggly fern. I don't know what it's actually called.
It's the wonky fern. Excuse you.
But he got it for me for Valentine's Day, and it's
Yeah.
really happy. It's kind of shiny.
So is this our plan? Are we going to be rotating plants in the center?
Gonna try. I have some, not like a ton. I'm looking at them now. Sorry.
We're going to
They're
stare
behind
at
the
you.
camera. But yeah, so hopefully you'll see a new one every episode.
New plants coming in.
Yes.
And then probably other things in the future. We'll see what we do. Because eventually we'll run out of plants. But I mean, you have a lot. So
I have a
I think
lot.
we'll be good. So what are we talking about this episode?
All right, so for the Kinda Lost podcast, episode 2, we got a few questions.
On Instagram polls.
I posted us a little story to kind of ask our audience to help us influence the topics of episode 2.
Guide us through.
So there were a lot of votes for a little poll, basically detailing what our favorite adventures are together. Mm-hmm. And then we had our number one fan, Miss Katrina Nicole.
One of the best.
She said, crazy shoot stories, anything bizarre or anything weird that has happened during a session.
And there have been many.
And then also Wandering Woods Farms asked, what are the best of the worst adventures? You know, the ones that were terrible but are now ones that we can laugh about. So
Yes.
overall, just kind of our topics for today are our crazy stories and notable adventures.
And shout out to both of those people,
Yes.
right? Katrina is amazing. I've worked
good
with
friend.
her on music, and coming up soon, there's going to be a music video that we're shooting for Katrina. Shh, no one knows. No one knows.
coming.
And Wandering Woods Farms, they are just incredible people. We've been talking with them about some cool stuff that they're doing that we might be able to cover for them. So both of those groups,
Lovely people.
both of those people, they're amazing. Thank you
Alright.
for the questions.
So, to kind of get us started off on the right foot in the weird, bizarre genre
Yes.
of our adventures, it wasn't actually during one of our sessions. It was a location scout on a little trip of ours. Let's talk about the werewolf at the mountain. That's right. I said werewolf.
It's super weird.
Yeah. So picture us
Well, let's first say that we go to Mount St Helens a lot.
a lot.
It's one of our favorite locations to
Always
shoot.
out there.
It's where we got married. It's like so it's up there.
My goal is to know the ins and outs of the whole area, and I want to summit before I'm 30.
And I think
Summit
that's a pretty
that
solid
mountain.
goal. That's
I
going to
want
be really fun.
That's our goal.
So Mount St Helens, favorite area to be, without driving super far. And, in going up there, finally Johnston Ridge was open.
Yes. So this was one of the first days last year that the Spirit Lake Highway was open all the way up to Johnston Ridge. Johnston Ridge is the closest viewpoint that you can get by car on the explosion side of the mountain. So,
The fun side.
yeah, where all the things happened.
Yes.
So we wanted to drive up there. We actually hadn't been up all the way up to Johnston Ridge together yet, up until last year, and we had some plans out there to shoot some sessions. So we figured we need
Scout.
to get out there and scout. So it was beginning of June, one of the first days that it opened. There was still snow on the road. The gates were everything just plowed, and all the way up at Johnston Ridge was still like.
Wait, I'm trying to remember because we've been up there a lot. Was this the same time that we saw the mountain goats? Was this the same day?
Yeah, actually.
Did we see the mountain goats first, or did we see this freaking creature first?
No, we saw the thing first.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that
we
just made
stopped.
everything better from there.
Yeah, so Up at Johnson Ridge, it's a windy road up, and it gets up to this ridge that overlooks the mountain, right? But on one of the curves up to the mountain before you get to Johnson Ridge, there is another lookout. I can't remember what the name is, but
it's one of the trails out there.
Yeah.
I'm failing to remember too.
There is a hiking trail that goes from the Hummocks Trail, which is down where the Winter Gate is. You can park there and hike up to Johnson Ridge in the winter if you want. And that trail connects from the Hummocks Trail all the way up to Johnson Ridge.
Yeah.
And up there, there's a lot of signs. It's pretty strict about, staying on trail as you should.
Yes.
The entire blast zone is still obviously a recovering habitat. So they're trying to maintain, we don't want people walking off the trail where there's fauna and
as
stuff
much as
trying to grow.
possible. Yeah.
So we stopped off at the viewpoint, right? And we're enjoying the view of the mountain. It's a lovely evening. It's going to be a beautiful sunset.
Now, setting the kind of like landscape around us, we have the mountain that was obviously furthest in the distance that we were focused on, but nearby toward us, next to this trail that we were viewing the mountain from, is another sort of knoll, a big sort of hill that's kind of bulbous. I love that word, bulbous, Bulbasaur. Anyway. But we have this hill, and up on top of it, as we're looking out at the mountain, we see
a person.
Yeah, just a dude. It looked like just a dude looking at the mountain.
Right, and he
was off trail. That was the other point of the like getting off trail thing. Like he was way off trail at the top of this knoll.
And so the other thing to note is we're the only car up there
that we're aware of.
I figured someone had parked down at the Hummocks Trail and was hiking from there. But and then after so no one was parked at the viewpoint we were at, and then no one was parked up at Johnson Ridge after that. But so thinking should be one of the few people up there.
Pretty isolated.
And I look up, and Cade looks up at the same time, and we'd seen like a red jacket, someone standing up on this crest or bulbous whatever.
No.
But it's clearly off trail because the trail goes down and this guy is like up on the ridge, like where the trail doesn't go. And I'm like, oh, okay, just
which is like, it's fine. That's cool, man. He's doing his thing. That it just
like,
again
bright
looked like a
red
dude.
Jacket, looked like a dude just standing there enjoying the view, just like we were, just from a viewpoint a little bit higher up.
Now, before the next part of the story, I have to say disclaimer. I hate the like superstitious.
Yeah.
I stray away from it. I really think that like all that stuff is amazing in movies, but then like having a real conversation with somebody in person, like it just kind of makes you feel weird because generally speaking, people like to make stuff up. That's fine.
But we can't explain what we saw.
Yeah, that's the hard part to swallow is like we can't really figure out what it is we saw.
So there was a
man
height of a man, looked like a man standing up. There was also a stump next to him.
Yes.
That looked about half his size. And so as I saw it, Cade saw it too, and we just started to look up and point at it. And as we did that, I mean, it looked like it turned and saw us, like it rotated.
Yeah, there was sort of a rotation, almost like the dude was bending over, like you would to tie your shoes. But then following that...
as I'm getting my phone out, because I wanted to zoom in to make sure it was a guy.
Yeah, we've got these Samsungs where you can zoom in like 20 or 50 times, and like you could see the moon fairly clearly. So you should be able to see this dude.
Yeah, and we just wanted to see, if it was a guy, if we were, someone else was up here. And as I'm bringing my phone up to zoom, I look up, and like Cade was saying, it had bent over to like it was tying his shoe, and then I look in my phone screen and there's a dog.
That's a freaking dog. That was a dog.
Now I have video of the dog. There was a dog / wolf there, fairly large, light color, long fluffy tail.
So my mind immediately went to this. I was like, okay, where'd the dude go? Because I see his dog. I was like, my mind blanked out the part where it was like, hey, transition from the shape of a man to a dog, which just looked like extending. But instead of that, my mind went to, transition. Hey, where's the dude? Because his dog's off leash. And I'm just like, oh, that looks like, oh my God, hey, look, there's a dog. And the dude's gone. And I don't know how to process this. My mind's kind of like starting to sputter. And so by the time Sophia had zoomed in and then, of course, gotten over the weird sort of shock of like, hey, that doesn't seem right, and began recording, of course, that weird sort of transitional moment had passed. Of course, every time you hear things, it's like,
I didn't catch the man part.
The pivotal moment that would sell this story, of course, never got got recorded, but whatever. At least we can say we generally don't make stuff up.
And I promise you, there was something standing vertical for a period of time, longer than a dog should be able to balance on its hind end.
Yeah, right. So, like, that's the other explanation. The dog was standing almost 6 feet tall, looking at the mountain, hanging out, doing his thing.
And I thought, maybe it was just a tree, like a tree stump that had been blasted over from the blast
There was
zone.
no tree
nothing
there.
vertical. There was a stump where the stump was, next to where the man was standing. That's still there. But instead of a man, it's now a dog.
Yeah, so do we know how to explain this? No, it doesn't make any sense. But do I kind of feel like there's now some more like cool, spiritual, kind of freaky deaky emotions I experience when we go up to the mountain? Yeah, dude.
It's magical.
It's kind of magic. I go there and I'm like, dude, I was Team Edward. Things have changed.
No. But so
Robert Pattinson makes a good Batman. Sue me.
It was great. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it. So yeah, we don't, and it was just us up there. I still have the video of the dog.
But that's kind of the end of the story because the dog scurried off.
Yeah,
and
but not like too fast either. Like
no,
he kind of
waltzed.
slunked away,
Yeah, he's like do, and then he went around the knoll and left.
And it also didn't look like a normal like domestic dog either. It was a big,
very much looked like a wolf. Yeah, because in comparison to the stump, it wasn't normal dog size.
Right.
It was at least half or more of the stump in height. And
Right.
and if it's not like I'm some physicist and I'm like really analyzing this, trying to figure out exactly what the measurement was, but it sure looked bigger than any of our dogs.
Right. And he looked like he belonged up there. Like he waltzed away. He saw us
And was like,
all
right, bye.
Bye. We'll see you later.
Super weird, dude.
And, also it's like if there was a man up there, I'm sure he probably didn't want to be around the wolf.
Well, and I got photos, but that's all I got.
Right.
I ended up getting some photos. And
So yeah, anyways, in the land of Bigfoot country up there in Washington, we saw a werewolf, we think. Or something we just don't really know how to comprehend.
So that was cool. Following that, man, we just kind of tried to like swallow that happened. We went all the way up to the observatory at Johnston Ridge. We checked out all the cool stuff up there, which also happened to be mountain goats.
Those were cute.
Eating some grass, dude. A whole family of them.
And no, it wasn't a mountain goat either.
What?
It wasn't a mountain goat either. Like I double checked. There is video. It was definitely a dog, not a mountain goat.
Oh, right. I was like,
but there were mountain goats up there as well.
The mountain goats were spirits.
No, just the mountain goats were up there at Johnson Ridge when we got all the way up there.
And that was cool. We got some great photos of those guys. I don't know that we actually
little baby ones.
Yeah, we didn't quite ever go through and process the images, but man, it was really cool just getting to hang out and see them.
I thought you edited them.
Maybe I did. I would have to go way far back and find actually where we saved them. But so that was definitely one adventure that's kind of unforgettable. And anytime we're hanging out with anybody, we kind of bring it up if we get on the topic of our travels, because that's a freaky deaky kind of experience.
Or when we take couples up there for the first time, we're like, yeah. By the way.
Second disclaimer on this episode, we are going to try and run a little bit shorter than we did last time. Last time we were like 50 minutes. And if you remember, the video cut out because, we're still working out the kinks in this thing. But hopefully this time we'll be good. So we're cutting it down to 30 minutes because we got some real estate shoot to do.
Yeah.
But I think we have time for like one more good adventure to throw in there.
Adventure or crazy thing that happened.
I like both.
'Cause that's just been one.
Yeah, that's only one. We need so much. That's the good thing. Okay, let me check. We actually have a timer. I'm lame. We actually have a timer on this.
Trying to make sure it doesn't
Don't
cut
come
out.
at me. We got to make sure that we're good to go and we can get this real estate shit going. So we got 12 minutes.
Okay.
We got 12. I think that we can fit something in 12 minutes. Let's make this happen. So
right, you want to go for it? My knee?
yeah, let's go for your knee.
All right.
Knees, plural. So Sophia has a problem that she discovered recently while we were doing a family session in Hillsboro.
Not recently. It's been a little bit. But
how long has it been? Time flies, dude.
Oh, that was an early session. That was 2019.
Really?
Yeah, it's been that. I mean, it's been spaced out. Anyway,
that freaks me out. Time warp. Weird. Okay, yeah. Okay, so a couple years ago.
To start, I am relatively hypermobile. My knees hyperextend normally without any issue. And also, goodness, what was I going to say? So they're I'm hypermobile.
Some might say you're very, very mobile. Yes.
Yes. Oh, and also I'm knock-kneed. That was the other thing. So, like, from a child, there's photos of me. My knees are touching.
It's
like,
cute. Don't hate on yourself.
very knock-kneed. So, a little bit predisposed to having my knee dislocate now, unfortunately. So, how it started is...
We're doing the family session out in Hillsborough.
doing the family session. So this family session has 2 beautiful twin little boys. And
Still some of the coolest family photos that we've gotten to take. That was such a
Yeah.
cool one.
Well-
And luckily this is toward the end of the session.
Yes.
So things have gone awesome up to
Well,
this point.
just have a few other poses that we want to kind of end the session on. And
And they involve a lot of crouching because they're little ones.
Got to get on their level, right? And normally I have no issue with crouching at all and squatting, and I can hang out there for a while.
Yeah.
Anyways, previously. But
You thought.
never, no real issues with my knees prior to this. But hanging out in a squat, hanging out, getting shots of the little ones, and went to stand up a little, like, quick, but normal. To
Yeah, nothing crazy.
And heard a pop and a pain and, and ouch.
You were
and-
washed with ow.
yeah, and nausea, and my vision kind of got a little bit black around the edges, but I was
So
doing
Sophia
okay.
nearly blacked out from the pain that she experienced because her, not that we knew this at the time, knee dislocated at the end of this session.
Yeah. So, but in trying to stand up, obviously that hurt. I was using my one good leg at the time, and just found out, I'm trying to extend my other leg, and it's like hitting bone. Like, I can't fully extend out my leg. It hurts. It's hurting. But what I do know is it's completely pain-free if I'm, like, on my knees.
Depending
like,
on the position of your knee.
Like, if I was just kept my knee bent and, like, no pain. So
Right.
I could stay on the ground on my knees and continue the session.
Which was kind of the first clue that it was a dislocation.
Right. And so I was like, thank God the family was so sweet. They were so concerned. And I was like, you know
They were
what?
so worried. And Sophia is a little bit stubborn.
A little bit
it turns
stubborn.
out.
I have a decent pain tolerance, and I was like, no, we're good. We're going to keep the session going.
So the clients, as well as I, are kind of like, so what do we do? Do we call somebody? Do we need to get, like, medical? Like, what do we do? And
I'm
you're
like,
like,
no.
I think I've got it. I'll figure this out. And so from the ground, in that exact, now, again,
I'm like,
this
just
is like
stay-
the end of the session.
Yeah.
So, like, this is our last location that we plan to use at this spot. And we were already doing stuff on the ground. And so she's on the ground. And she
like,
figures,
just-
I can shoot here.
Yeah, just stay close around me. We'll finish the session. No worries. And
You're kind
so
of a
we
trooper.
do. I try it. Listen,
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah, and you did good. And like from there, you like in going to the edit, it's not like those shots while you were in, a pretty decent amount of pain were bad. You got amazing shots with a
you.
dislocated knee.
Thank you. So, yeah.
So everybody kind of continued from my perspective anyway as being like, even though this is happening, all right, well, if you're
do it.
actually okay, like,
Sure.
guess we'll do a couple more.
And we did. And
and
it
we
was
did.
beautiful. And session finished up. We said our thank you. And
They're
you
like,
know, they're
"We
like,
hope
are
you're
you
okay."
sure you're good? And Kate's like, well, got her. And I'm like, I'm fine. As
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the ground, not moving.
Right, like
And-
attempting not to cry because,
Right.
oh my gosh, that
I'm
actually
like
hurts.
trying not to throw up. The nausea's kicking in.
Oh my gosh, that's brutal.
And so Kate's like, stay here. I'm going to go get the car. Now, there was still a decent amount of field.
Yeah, this was like
to cover between the parking lot.
Yeah, we were down a path a ways.
So he was going to go get the car and park it as close to the field as possible and then come get me. And he's like, stay here. And I'm like, bet. And so I'm stubborn, like he said, and I'm hobbling across the field. And
Stressed. I was stressed.
he's driving. He gets out of the car and he's like, what the hell?
I'm like, are you serious?
Are you kidding?
That you're actually trying to
I just-
hop. Look how pathetic that is right now. You're hopping. You're actually hopping. And like the fact that you did that and didn't like twinge a nerve, do something where you collapsed and that you were back on the ground.
Thanks.
It was outstanding. That was really good. But so we got you in the car.
Got me in the car, which that was fun. Drove all the way home. Decided not to go to the hospital because I was going to wait to figure out what the heck, because I didn't know it was a dislocation.
Right.
It
We
was just
figured
like,
that out later.
Like, it just hurts a lot. Not enough that I'm ready to go to the hospital yet, but, if it doesn't stop in a while, I might consider it.
I just dropped my phone, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo, party foul.
So I...
Act like I'm not moving.
I slept through the night with it. It was difficult. And then the next day I was just trying to relax, trying to find the positions in which it stayed comfortable, that I could stretch it out, but still unable to fully extend.
So it was still dislocated.
Right. And so I sat with that leg tucked under my other leg, so my knee was bent and kind of twisted underneath my other leg, and had a heating pad, ice,
everything that we could think
that,
at
just
the time.
trying to relax. And then I was super comfortable and just kind of went to straighten my leg out, rotate it in such a way that it can straighten. Heard a little pop, and then was like, I wonder. And I stood up, and I could straighten my leg out,
right
put all
back
my
to
weight
normal.
up on it, and I was good. A little
So
sore,
crazy.
but good to go. I, felt good. And
You had actually literally placed your knee
Yeah.
back where it needed to be manually, and
Right.
that's insane. The fact that you did that and didn't experience another bout of pain,
Right.
is
It was
nuts.
pain-free to do that. So that was fantastic, because hearing what most people have to do when they dislocate their knee is traumatic.
And so let me run through quickly the fact that, so this happened, you figure out it was a dislocation, you figure out that you have a method for getting it back, and then following that, it happens again, but on the other knee during a wedding, right before the ceremony starts.
Yeah, so about 6 months later, I,
Hot summer day.
thought, that was a one-time thing, and so it was a little micro wedding that we did locally with a wonderful couple. Love them so much because this happened.
Yeah.
And it happened to be in the middle of July, one of the hottest days last summer, and they had a dog running around their whole wedding, and it was their dog.
Cute dogs. We
So
gotta take
sweet.
pictures.
And just like dogs, or just like kids, dogs crouching.
You kind of gotta get
level
on the
with
ground.
them.
And so she was on the ground again, crouching.
Yeah,
doing her
and
thing.
this was like minutes before the ceremony, and I'm just like, the dog looked cute. Let me grab this real quick. Squat down, hang out. Hey, dog, let me get your photo.
And then you go back to stand up.
And I go to stand up, and I was on a hill too while I was crouching, and so my leg like twisted in a funny way while I stood up, and it was my other leg, and it popped. And
Immediately
I was like,
knew what happened.
shoot.
Which is the polite word.
Right.
Because there was a lot more than that happening.
And I,
Verbally.
instantly like stars, and I'm
Yeah,
like
dude.
trying to find Cade, because I'm just like on my knees, or like on my
Well, I
butt.
saw you on
Right.
the ground, and I come over,
like,
and like
"What's
I had already
wrong?"
thought like that could be a possibility, but I didn't understand yet. So I got
I'm
there,
like, hey, by the way, it's my other one this time.
and I'm just like straight up panic. What do we do?
Because ceremony, people are walking to go and take their seats.
And what does she say? She tells me to go and shoot the ceremony. She's
You
like,
gotta get the
I'll figure
ceremony.
it out. Basically,
I'll be there.
And so I do. And then several minutes into the ceremony, right before any of
No.
this super important stuff, like
Right.
this was like people had
People were
sat.
seated.
People had
and-
sitted.
Yeah. Sorry. The groom was in position. The bride was about to walk down the aisle. And
Yep.
I was supposed to follow her,
Yeah.
And so she knows. You had already went and told her.
I let everybody know.
Everyone knew what had happened in the meantime, and they're like, okay, he's still Superman.
Right, I'm still going.
He's going. He'll get it. Which is,
I wouldn't say I was Superman. Like, you were Superwoman. You were like dealing with.
this is why there's two of us.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Foolproof.
And so I'm just trying to relax, trying not to throw up, trying to get the stars to go away. And I'm like, okay, how did I do it last time? And I immediately and thankfully, it was another comfortable position that my knee could be in. It was the same type of thing. I stretched it out, took a few deep breaths, and did the same rotation to stretch it out. Pop! Ready to go.
And you were right back to it, man.
Little sore, but I was there to get
so
her down the
crazy.
aisle, and we were ready to go, finished out the evening.
I mean, and so what you can learn from this is Los Locals Media, rain, shine, broken bones or not, like we're ready to go. And so like from that point, obviously you've learned what to avoid doing.
Yes. So now I have been like very, very, very
Diligent.
careful and diligent about where I'm placing my squats.
Right.
And working with kids and stuff, and doing my best to start working out a bunch, trying to work on that, get my knees strengthened,
Yeah.
and do all of that.
And I
So-
mean, you're doing a pretty solid job. Like
I'm
we're
trying.
obviously constantly a little paranoid now, but like it's working out.
Yeah.
And so, but those are just a couple of our adventures and mishaps.
little surprising, crazy adventures. Yes.
Yeah. So, obviously, we have a lot more.
Yeah.
So I guess mini, sort of like micro.
We'll circle back to this in another episode.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're gonna hit this up again. But I guess that's pretty much gonna do it for episode 2.
Try to keep it short. Hopefully our video hasn't cut out yet.
And you guys have to you guys have to tell us if you don't mind. Do you guys prefer shorter form episodes, like 30 minutes or less, roughly? Or do you guys like long episodes where we just kind of like go
ramble
for ages?
You can listen to this for 2 days.
Oh yeah, like over the course of doing work and stuff.
Like quick and sweet.
Let us know what you think and keep asking us questions on Instagram. We'll post more polls and we'll get some more info from you guys. But
I think that's about it.
Thank you for listening to the Kinda Lost podcast.
Try it again.
I'm trying so hard. Episode 2.
Yes.
Thank you, Plant.
Yes, thank you
for being here with us.
You've done well. Nice curly.
And hopefully
leaves.
We will see you guys soon in front of our cameras.
Yeah, we'll be back here again for episode 3.
Bye.
See ya.